What's up guys, Johnson here, and today I have another Reigns gameplay for you guys, and this is the new season in Mobile Legends right here. Season 23 I believe. We just started out a few days ago, so hope everyone is having a great time. It's the new year coming up soon, and I hope you're gonna have a good time on the ladder as well, and happy holidays. So let's take a look at this. It's a 5-man queue actually. And what I'm doing here really is basically I'm playing as a marksman in the gold lane, so this is typically not a role that I play with, but in order to climb, especially carrying over from last season where I didn't actually play that much, this was really an efficient way for me to climb, because I typically just go and pick a late game marksman and start scaling out by playing it safe early on. As you can see right here, I'm laning against a Mosque on the enemy team, and I'm not sure where he is, and I don't really want to test it out because I'm not really that strong early on, even though Moscow is even weaker at level 1 to be honest, so I could have definitely punished him there. He gets his level 2 first, I get stunned. Unfortunately the trap net doesn't hit, so not a very good trade for me, but Moscow actually loses to Clint. And the reason for that is because of the range that I have, and so I can just poke him out pretty easily. Right, in terms of composition, our team has a pretty standard comp here. I'm just going for the dive, and we get first blood. Very nice. Sylvan comes in, dodge away the stun. Unfortunately my target lands on the wrong one, but Ling does get the kill in the end, which is very nice, because Ling is a jungler that requires a lot of farm. So anyhow, our composition is pretty traditional. We've got one main tank, it's Kufra. We've got a melee mage, Cyclops. Our jungler is Ling, very nimble assassin, and we have our experienced laner, XP lane, Ruby. Unfortunately, Ruby just got killed by the gank by the Martyrs coming around with the Amon. Enemy team has pretty interesting comp. They don't really have a front line. They just have, Martyrs plus Amon, I guess. Or Martyrs plus Angela actually. Unfortunately I got stunned. This is bad position by me. And yeah, this is kind of my fault. Didn't stand too well there. They have Selena, an early game assassin, and then also Moscow. So here, yeah, a bad play by me. Nothing much to say about this one. I was a little bit too ambitious. Could have definitely played more safe in the laning phase. It's just that typically I'm trying to push out get some early wins, so that I can, snowball a little bit better. Definitely a bit too greedy here. So anyway, our team's just gonna do their own thing. The jungle's going around the gank, go take the objectives, and myself, because like the turtle's not here, right? So I don't really give a shit. So I noticed this guy's in here, and yeah, forced down the Angela ultimate. Our team's actually rotating around, so here they go for this guy right here. I'm gonna flip around the wall, can't really get across, but we do get a kill onto Angela, and this is gonna snowball our lead basically, right? So as a goalie marksman, especially like this style of marksman like Clint or Moscow, Eristel, you get really strong later on. Your early game isn't that great, so you're just gonna try accelerate that process if you can safely, and if not, it's okay to just take it easy. Like Clint is one of those marksmen, is like he's a major power spike once he gets his first item, and after the second item he can basically start one tapping a lot of people. So you can see how Moscow really loses to Clint, right? I mean, obviously I am one level ahead of him, but still, because of the range, I don't lose in the trade. So our lane found this Angela right here, so I got a kill. Unfortunately, I actually wanted to give it to Ling, really, because he will have a lot more impact on the map because of his roaming and stuff like that. You can see goalie marksman really doesn't do that much, because the first thing priority for you is to really take out the first tower. Of course, after you take out the first tower, and then you can join the team. But what I like to do with a very strong late game marksman like Clint is to actually push more than one tower, especially when we get hit, right? Of course, there's also another way to play it out, which is to go with your team and go for team fights all around. But this is just gonna leave your side lanes prone to, prone to getting destroyed. Here you can see I'm just gonna poke out this Moscow here for trying to defend this tower. So I'm not gonna try and just do it for free, poking him out for free. So because of my pressure here, I keep the Moscow here, who needs to stay, right? So it's pretty good. Obviously, if they send more people, it'd be even better. But that's that. And if this guy decides to come closer, I can go for it. Fortunately, I can't really hit him. Actually, I realized there's actually a little bit of an animation bug with Clint. Sometimes when his auto attacks fly like randomly, of course the damage still collects, of course, but a lot of times it just goes all over the place. So anyhow, you can see for the whole, well, I don't know, quite a long time basically, I didn't do anything to help my team really in terms of grand scheme of team fights. But here I took another tower because the enemy team refused to send basically another member. So what I'm trying to do is to apply pressure such that the enemy team will have to respond to me with more than one person, and that will relieve out the fighting, relieve pressure from the other lanes, and that will help our team to get a huge advantage because they can just fight 4 versus 3, and it's really, you can't lose a 4 versus 3, especially when you're ahead, or at least even when you're even, right? That gives your team a lot more opportunity, right? So hiding the bush obviously just means that they can't really come into check and do poke out that guy. Use my purify here, just gotta be safe, even though I don't really need to use it. And we take out the mid tower, right? So some successful push here. We did manage to get one objective, and as a return, or as a result, the enemy team will just go and push, obviously, because that's what they will do. So Kufa comes in with huge knockup and ultimate, so we just come in to follow up. Obviously, you are basically the main damage dealer, especially if you win your lane like heavily. So don't shy away, basically. Stay there and do the damage. Trying to take down this tower actually. So this is kind of funny. I shouldn't have died here. But I was trying to take out tower. I saw that was really low, but I ended up tanking a little bit too much and I died. And obviously it's great because he went to Selena, because Selena is not their main carry. And you can see literally what happens, right? What happens when the main carry, especially if you're playing as a goal lane marksman, you are the main carry, so it's really important for you to be at the fight. And once you die, I guess almost everything kind of falls apart, and that's really a crucial role to play. Obviously, I wouldn't say I'm really good at this, to be honest, because I've been playing tanks and fighters for basically most of my time in ML. I did venture around to fighter or marksman as well, but it's not even as remotely close to as the amount of experience I've had in melee champions. But you can see what I'm doing, right? When I come back out, it's always trying to weave opportunities to farm. Doesn't really matter whatever it is, just gonna go for it, get farm. He didn't manage to kill. Unfortunately here, yet again, I died because I took way too much damage, and our team wasn't really ready, right? So then the Martis decides to kind of just dunk on everybody. So yeah, Martis is actually buffed, and he is actually pretty okay now. He's not like terrible, to be honest. His damage is pretty solid. So yeah, this is a couple of mistakes that caused us to get wiped out. So obviously it wasn't a perfect game, right? Like we had a good start obviously because we were winning lanes everywhere. I was winning my lane, and then our jungler came over for a gank to snowball himself, and that was excellent. But we're still somewhat in the lead, right? So you can go forward. You can see how many items I have on Clint. Once you have more than two items or more basically, you are really able to deal significant damage with, let's say, one skill and an auto attack. That's a whole lot of damage coming out, especially when you have true damage coming in from Endless Battle and Thunderbelt. Of course, the Berserker's Fury is huge in terms of your spike in damage. That contributes to your 2-item power spike. Of course, your 1-item power spike isn't too bad either, because Endless Battle does a huge deal for Clint. Essential item, we must get it no matter what. Another thing to consider is your itemization. Well, sometimes Clint players I see will go for full damage build, so probably Thunderbelt wouldn't appear, and whatever I'm building right now is Rose Gold Meteor. That's not gonna appear in the build as well. They probably go like Scarlet Phantom or Windtalker. I personally don't like that, because Clint isn't really a marksman that depends on basic attacks all that much to do damage. He does a lot more of his combos, right? So that's really important. Took a lot of damage here, but since I got some defensive statistics with my Rose Gold Meteor and Thunderbelt, it helped me stay alive. Plus you can see how my boots are not the swift boots, but they're actually tough boots. So it does give me a lot of tenacity. Unfortunately I still die here. Our team definitely could have stopped that shit. We're not blaming anything, but you can see what happens when when the main damage dealer is down, right? Obviously it's kind of my fault for staying so long and doing it, but we get wiped again. So very crucial point as a damage dealer. You need to, okay, I think a lot of damage dealers in terms of range AD carries, like people who play marksman, they either do two things. One way is to charge all the way in, they get themselves killed, especially in the laning phase, and then they just lose the advantage such that the whole tempo is gone because you lose the whole wave and you use the whole lane. So it's gonna drag your team down, and that's definitely not what you want to go for. But the other way that I see pretty common is, well, playing too safe, right? You're not dealing the damage that you should be, and that's why I'm trying to tread the line carefully here, because I want to be on knife's edge. I want to be able to do significant damage without putting myself in too much danger such that I will die immediately and cause the loss of the team fight. And that's kind of difficult, right? Because, well, there's always a certain amount of risk you need to take when you're dealing damage as a marksman. But here comes the engage from our team. I follow up, basically root the Angela, and that's the signal for us to go forward, right? Because we already took down their support. Basically, at this stage of the game, a late game is whoever goes down, just take down one player, and you go out from there. You can see the amount of damage I deal. That somehow I got stunned for that. I thought I wouldn't. Anyhow, took a lot of damage, so I'm gonna take a step back. So obviously treading the fine line between risk as well as damage is crucial. And personally for me, I would play on the risky side, but I'll always try and let my team initiate for me, and that's basically how it works. As a goalie marksman, there's basically no situation unless you're like super hit where you're going to initiate on your own. Otherwise, don't do that. I mean, in this case, I'm just super fed, so I'm just gonna go for and kill that Angela on my own. But otherwise, that's kind of about it really. So pretty interesting game. Obviously we had a great start early on, but we stumbled along the way, right? So you can see the mistakes that I made along the way, and then you just gotta take note of it, right? When you're ahead, obviously try and play around your team more. Obviously another option is to push, but it's a little bit risky because when you push, you put yourself prone to ganking, and then if you die, you might be giving away a lot of your gold bounty on you. But it works out in the end. It depends on your goals, and if your champion, if your marksman, let's say, that you use in the goal lane is a great split pusher, then obviously use it to the best of your ability and, like, draw attention away from the enemy team. And that's basically what I've been doing. So you can see this by the amount of turret damage I've been doing. So that's what my role in this game really was, because our team had a pretty solid team fight setup, right? We have Kufra and Ruby with a lot of crowd control, and Link has pretty decent burst damage alongside Cyclops. So that's pretty much good enough to take down anybody on the other team, because they don't really have a frontliner. But of course, if the team composition warrants for it, let's say the enemy team is very beefy, and then if you're playing front to back as well, you definitely have to be there at the team fights. So it's basically a weighing of pros and cons. And in this game, I saw merit in just keeping the Moskov in lane since he wasn't leaving. And I felt that it was okay to stay longer and suppress him as long as possible, and you can see how little impact he had on the game at the end, because after all, Moskov isn't really a champion until he starts getting his items, and then if he's behind, he's basically useless. Unlike Clint, who actually deals true damage with his items, you will get to that level no matter what, so you just keep farming up and you'll eventually get there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is basically the new season 23. I hope you guys are having fun and ranking up. And since I'm hopefully releasing this before New Year's, I wish everyone a happy new year. This is Chang, so signing off. I'll see you guys next time.